So, today I am planning to complete this coupled diode model and start with another topic called as drift in the base region. Last class we discussed about coupled diode model equations, which is an emitter current equation here what you are seeing, IE, which is an emitter current equation which is equal to a diode term here, and there is a current source term here which you are seeing in the pink color, and there is a collector current equation below this. You can see here collector current equation is also made up of two terms here, two components. The green color stuff here indicates it is a diode, and the blue color stuff here shows it is a current source here. Okay. And if you look at the real BJT, it has actual BJT device, it has got emitter terminal here, base, and this collector. This model is analogous to actual BJT, and this explains you how exactly BJT works through the various components used in this model. Okay. For instance, if you look at this first term here, IE is equal to, there is a first term here, this is a diode term. How do we say it is a diode term? So, for that you need to substitute for delta P. Delta P indicates excess hole concentration at the emitter base junction. Just to substitute in place of delta P this equation. Okay, what you get it when you substitute this here. So, this P n here cancels with this P n here, and you are left out with IE is equal to IES times this exponential term. So, that means IES is nothing but reverse saturation current, this exponential term. If you observe this exponential term, it is nothing but a diode current equation, right. What is diode current equation? I is equal to I naught into e power q v by k t minus 1. Even if you look at emitter current, the first term here, this looks like diode current equation only. Therefore, at the emitter we have there is a current here, okay, which is a diode current here. So, we can represent it that with a diode here. Okay. So, that is the reason here we have a diode here, and also this is in a normal mode. When you look at in the inverted mode, so emitter in the normal mode is doing the emission job, that is why you have a diode here. So, this is diode is doing the emission job here, emission of charge carriers here, and you can also see that in inverted mode emitter is doing the collection job. Therefore, we have a current source here. Okay. So, the pink color stuff component what you see here is nothing but the current source here. So, the current source is now it has got the different terms within it. This is alpha I, which is called current transfer ratio in inverted mode. There is ICS and delta PC divided by Pn. And also if you observe this individual terms of this current source here. So, delta PC here, if you look at this delta PC, so this delta PC shows that this is a term which is associated with the voltage which is applied across collector and base. So, what is delta PC? Delta PC is nothing but which is almost the same as the delta P only, except in place of a VEB we will have VCB. So, that means this delta PC, the current source here, the definition of current source here, okay, so is this current source does not depend on the voltage applied across emitter and base. So, this current source depend on the voltage applied across collector and base. So, that is why it is a dependent current source here. Okay, that is how we represent it this with a current source. A current source means the current flowing, dependent current source means the current flowing in this branch depends on the voltage applied in some other branch. So, actually for as per the definition we write here this current source, and why this is from coming into the emitter, because of this negative sign, one current which is injection current that is leaving the emitter, other current which is entering the emitter in the inverted mode here. When emitter is doing the collection job, the current enters from other terminal here. So, according to this equation, the first term indicates diode which is injecting the charge carriers, and second term is nothing but it is a current source that is in inverted mode. So, the emitter will do the collection job when it is operated in the inverted mode, and same stuff you also see in the collector terminal here. And at the collector, if you look at the collector equation, if you observe it here, again it has got two components here. The first component is the current source component, and second component is going to be the diode component. So, diode component if you observe again here, if you substitute for delta PC equation here, so this total green color stuff gives you the diode current equation. So, that is why we have a diode here in the inverted mode here. So, in inverted mode collector will do the emission job, and in the normal mode, okay, so collector does the collection job. So, you can see here, so collector has got two capabilities here. Okay. So, this is in normal mode, it will act like a collector charges injected by the emitter will be collected by the collector. So, the collector is acting like a collector, collects the charge carriers across the base region here. And in the inverted mode, this collector will act like a emitter, it emits the charge carrier. So, therefore, we replace here with a diode here. Okay. So, the second term here is nothing but the diode behavior of this model, and the first term here is nothing but it is a current source behavior. And already this delta P, the delta P term here depends on the voltage applied here. That means, this satisfies the current source requirement here. This current source does not depend on the voltage applied between collector and the base, but instead this current source depends on the voltage applied between emitter and base here. So, that means, this model is going to be a very good model, because it allows the current flow in both the directions here. When in the normal mode, you can see these two components will play out. So, this is emitter is doing the injection and collector is doing the collection, and in inverted mode collector does the emission job. So, the bottom two components will become active in the inverted mode, collector does the emission and the emitter does the collection here. So, that is why this model is going to be a trusted model and very strong model, and that represents an actual bipolar junction transistor here. And next thing is when we come to the base here, let us see whether base base current flowing here conveys this equation or not. Again, if you look at here in the base terminal here, you can just add and subtract the corresponding currents that are entering, you can add them, and current that is leaving, you can subtract them, the terms associated with that. You can see, observe here this current through the diode in the normal mode. Okay, it is entering this base terminal. So, therefore, you can see here this term base current now is made up of two things here, two components. Totally it is made up of four components. You can see current component due to the diode here, current source here, diode here, and the current source here. And let us analyze one by one here. So, let us see this particular current that is entering this base terminal here. So, you can see this is a positive quantity, 1 is multiplied with IES times this delta P by P n, multiplied with 1 gives you the positive, that is a current that is entering the base terminal. And you can also see that current that is leaving the base terminal, which is this component here, alpha n IES times delta P by P n. So, you have a minus here, you can see here this alpha n times this IES times delta P by P n here. So, that means these two components are included in this first term of this equation of the base current, and you can also observe second term of the base current here. In second term, you can see that this current is entering from the collector to the base. So, this diode component here ICS into delta P c by P n. So, you can see that is multiplied with 1, that is a positive quantity here, minus, and current that is leaving the base terminal is nothing but alpha I times ICS into delta P c by P n. So, you have minus sign here, alpha I, which is inverted mode, and ICS into delta P c by P n here. Okay. So, that means you can obtain the base current equation if you know the emitter current and collector current equations. You can also take a difference. I have shown this base current derivation by just analyzing the current flow within this coupled diode model. You can also obtain this base current expression what we have shown here by just subtracting emitter current from the collector current here. So, we know that IB is equal to IE and IE minus IC, this is IB. You can use this equation IE minus IC, you can use this equation, and already emitter current equation and collector current equation. If you just substitute here and simplify, you will get back this base current equation here. Okay. So, here why current sources I already explained you. Okay. So, current sources is because as per the definition here, the current source should not depend on the voltage applied across its terminal. It should depend on the voltage applied in some other branch. So, that is why we represent here with the current source here. Okay. So, this represents our as I told you as a BJT. BJT should allow both movement of current here in both the directions, from emitter to collector in normal mode and collector to emitter in the inverted mode. So, that is why this model is an accurate representation of the BJT here. And why the extra P n in the denominator of the diodes here. So, this extra P n is because, here instead of having this complex equation, we can simplify this equations by avoiding this negative terms here. That is why the P n comes into the denominator of this current equation here. Otherwise, this terms becomes very complex for us to do an analysis here. Okay. Now you can wire this BJT. What we have shown, this is a very fantastic model, this coupled diode model, and many times if you want to analyze circuits based on bipolar junction transistor, you can in place of BJT you can wire up this model between emitter, base and collector. So, analysis of complex BJT circuits becomes very easy. Okay. Many times students struggle to analyze BJT based circuits. Now, with the help of this model, if you can plug in this model into the BJT, the complete circuits can be analyzed very easy, and you can impress your boss and you can impress your friends also by just plugging this model into the BJT. Okay. And clever analog designers leverage this this feature here. So, many times we have seen that there are people who quickly analyze BJT circuits by just remembering this model and plugging that into the BJT to analyze other circuit components in the analog circuits here. And this is more flexible than the field effect transistor. So, the field effect transistor we do not have the model which is of like this much of flexibility. Compared to the field effect transistor, this model is much better for BJT analysis here. Okay. And this band diagrams we already told about in normal mode band diagrams. Normal mode means emitter base junction act like a forward bias, collector base junction act like a reverse bias. We can see here the holes are injecting from emitter to the collector here, and we can also observe the barrier heights here. Since emitter base junction is forward biased, we can see the barrier height is less in this emitter base junction. On the other hand, if you see the collector base junction, the barrier height has been increased since due to the reverse bias here. So, this reverse biased junction will create strong electric field and it will cause the drift of charge carriers from the base region here. Since base width is narrow, so all charges that are injected from the emitter that reaches the collector here. Okay. And we can also see the Fermi levels here which has been splitted here. Okay. When we see the PN junction at the equilibrium. So, this represents the diode and this represents the current source component here. So, a charge carriers which are emitted injected here and constant flow will happen to the collector region here. Okay. In inverted mode, the exact what we have shown here is inverse, it is opposite. So, emitter base junction is reverse biased, collector base junction is forward biased. Collector does the emission job, emitter does the collection job here, and we can see the hole movement here. Okay. So, holes keep moving from collector to the base and then to the emitter. So, again due to the large reverse bias between emitter base junction, a lot of holes can be swept into the emitter region and it can create the current here. So, therefore, this pink color stuff shows the current source in the emitter region, and this is a diode stuff which injects the charge carriers from the collector to the emitter here. Okay. Okay. So, with that I think we have completed this normal mode operation and inverted mode operations of a coupled diode model, and there are a few questions which we can ask here. This yellow and green boxes, they are really this simple diodes as we have shown here many times. If you substitute the delta P stuff here, this will become a diode current equation. This yellow color stuff here and this green color stuff, they are nothing but they are simple diodes, because if you substitute here delta P C here also, you get a diode current equation here. And this in the yellow color box also, this ES reverse saturation current is can be shown as I naught also. And in the normal mode, we know that delta P C becomes 0. In the normal mode means if you look at this whole charge carrier distribution within the base region here, and this is going to be the 0 and this is going to be the width of the base region end towards collector side. And here you can see in the normal mode, this is delta P is very high. Okay. When you reach the collector side, delta P becomes 0 and even delta P C is also going to be 0 here. Okay. So, you do not see any emission from the collector when it is in normal mode. Normal mode means emitter will act like emitter, collector will act like a collector. Therefore, in the normal mode delta P C is going to be 0. Okay. So, in this equation, if you substitute in the normal mode delta P C is 0, so you have only this part here. Okay. So, this resembles this when you substitute delta P C as 0 in normal mode, you only have this first part yellow component here, and this yellow part represents the diode here. Okay. So, this is what we want to show here. This yellow color stuff and green color stuff represents a diode in the normal mode. This represents in normal mode diode, and this represents in a diode in the inverted mode. Okay. Uh, Here we have critical things to analyze here. First of all, this is a model that everybody can trust. Instead of thinking more about BJT, actual BJT, we can replace actual BJT with this model, and you can do a lot of analysis here. Now, let me ask you a question here. These questions we will also ask in the quiz. So, try to think here itself, so that I will try to give hint for you to answer these questions, so that it becomes easy for you to answer in the quiz also. What would be the base current, emitter current, collector current if both emitter base junction, collector base junction are reverse bias? Do you think this model provides solution for this? Okay, just to think about, take a minute time and analyze this from this model, and tell me what would be the three currents here: base current, emitter current, and collector current if both emitter base junction, collector base junction are reverse biased. Anybody can answer this question. Yeah, anybody has solution for this? You can just tell me whether base current or emitter current or collector current, or whether they are large quantities or small quantities or zero values. The condition is both junctions are reverse biased. Okay, let me help you out by writing here. Okay, so the different biases here. So this is reverse bias, since it is a P plus NP transistor. So, let me apply here minus here, negative terminal of supply, and plus here base is. So, this is reverse biased. Let me write it here, this is reverse biased. And also you can see emitter base junction also it is reverse biased. So, let me apply here negative terminal, since it is a P plus NP transistor, negative, and again positive here. Okay. So, this is a positive terminal here. So, even this also it is going to be reverse biased. Now, can you think of this, each of these components, and tell me whether these currents, base current, emitter current, and collector current, what are those values? Any ideas? Okay, well, I think let me give solution for this. Since this is reverse biased. Okay, so let us start with emitter base junction. When this is reverse biased, what will be the value for delta P? Look at this, delta P. Recall delta P equation. What is delta P equation? Anybody can tell me the terms related to delta P? Delta P, just now we said about this. Delta P is nothing but Pn times e to the power of q VB by kT minus 1. Look at this now, this equation, delta P equation. Since VB is negative, reverse bias, right? So, we are reverse bias here, this becomes negative, and look at this exponential term here. When this becomes negative, so this becomes very small, and this can be neglected here. So, that means delta P becomes less than 0, right, negative value. So, delta P becomes 0, less than 0, therefore, this component can be eliminated. Okay. So, this becomes open circuit here, and see delta P is also present here in this term you can see here, this also goes to 0 and this will become open circuit here. Since emitter base junction we have seen, emitter base bias we have seen. Similarly, look at collector base bias here, that is also reverse bias, right. So, now whatever we said for delta P is applicable for delta P c. So, delta P c, since it is reverse bias, this will go to 0 and this delta P c here there is a term again, this also goes to 0, that means here also it will act like a open circuit, right. Now, see the behavior here now when both are reverse biased. Do you get any current here? Of course not, because see when there is a open circuit between the collector and the emitter. Okay, so, there is no current flow here. So, this complete circuit will behave like a open circuit. Okay, so, this is the analysis type of analysis what we expect from this model. In actual BJT, we can't even think of whether what current flows in the BJT when reverse bias is applied between emitter base and collector base. So, this model provides a solution for that. Okay, so, but what happens here is a small amount of reverse saturation current may flow here. This is the ideal conditions what we have discussed by making this as a open circuit here. But in practical BJTs, a small amount of even though we have reverse biased here, the forward current is going to be 0, but a small amount of reverse saturation current may flow from base to the emitter. Same thing will happen here also, from base to the collector, small amount of reverse saturation current may flow. Since these quantities are going to be very small, this can be neglected here, but in ideal case this between the emitter and the collector, the entire circuit will act like a open circuit under a reverse bias here. There is another tough question which I would like to ask here. The condition here is when we have a symmetrical PNP BJT. Okay, so, look at this symmetrical PNP BJT. What happens if emitter base junction and collector base junctions are in forward bias? Just think about this. Symmetrical BJT means this emitter region and collector region are doping conditions are same. Okay, instead of calling P plus NP for symmetrical BJT, we call as PNP. So, doping density in the emitter and collector are same. Now, in such case, if we apply forward bias between emitter and base and collector and base, do you think the base current increases? Just think about this. Think a moment and let me know your answer from your side. Anybody? Are you there or not?
It will be large scale.
Yeah, that is a normal answer which we get. Current, it is a usual answer what we get. Current is going to be, you are saying base current is larger, am I right? What is your name? Karthik, you are saying base current is larger when we forward bias both emitter base junction and collector base junction. Is that the answer?
I think
Okay, okay, let me analyze this. So, let us forward bias this emitter base junction. We apply positive to the emitter, negative to the base. This is forward biased, and similarly we will connect here. This is also collector is also forward biased. So, therefore, we apply here the positive to the collector and negative to the base. So, this is forward biased. Okay. Forward biased collector base junction, and we have forward biased emitter base junction. Now, actually what Karthik said is that is the usual answer what we get. We think of that when we forward bias it we get lots of current from emitter to the base and collector to the base, and that is not a, in my opinion, is not a correct answer. Let me see the answers for that. If that is the condition, when we forward bias both the junction here, the base must be heavily doped to tolerate that many charge carriers here, but in reality the base is lightly doped. So, base doesn't have that many charge carriers to recombine the amount of charge carriers emitting from the emitter and the collector here. So, the base current is is not sufficient for that. So, we said already this is a PNP transistor, symmetrical transistor here. You can see here this emitter emits the charge carriers here. Okay, so, this is the current flow. Let us assume that this is the current flow due to the forward bias current is flowing here. Fraction of this current reaches the collector, right, in the normal mode. So, this is upper components indicates normal mode. So, this does a emission job, and this emitted charge carriers from the emitter are collected by the collector here. How much it is collected, that is stored by the alpha n. Alpha n is a current transfer ratio. So, it is a fraction of the injected charge carriers that is collected by the collector here. Okay. And look at here now, when the collector is doing the emission. Okay, so, when we since we also forward biased this collector base junction. So, the diode here, this also will do the emission job, okay, because of forward biased here. So, now you can see this is doing emission and this is emitter is doing the collection here, right. And you can see here there is alpha I here, there is a current transfer ratio. That means, total charge is injected here, the fraction of that reaches the emitter. How much it reaches, that is alpha I times the this remaining terms you can see that, which is same as here. So, out of this term the alpha I times reaches the emitter here also. Out of this total charge carriers injected, alpha n of this reaches the collector, alpha n of this total this reaches the collector here. Now, since it is equally doped between the emitter and the collector regions here, that means this stuff here cancel with this stuff here, am I right? It is equally doped. I am saying I am looking for the condition, this particular condition. Okay. Let us not worry about other doping conditions here. Since emitter and collector are equally doped, therefore, the current that is coming from the emitter to the collector, current that is going from collector to the emitter, these two quantities will get cancelled definitely because of equal doping. And similarly, these currents here, the current that is collected by the collector by from emitted by the emitter, this current here and this current here also cancels here. Okay. What is the net current now flowing to the BJT, base current? Do you think a large value here? So, this current must be 0 now, right, because these two currents for equal doping they cancel each other. So, therefore, this resulting base current will be 0 for this. Now, suppose if I choose a transistor of this type P plus NP transistor, now see what happens. If this is the condition P plus NP transistor, instead of having a symmetrical transistor, let us have a symmetrical transistor now. When we have a symmetrical transistor, we already said that the current transfer ratios will differ, alpha n is not equal to alpha I, right, and even the reverse saturation current also, this IES is not same as ICS, right. Now, you see that P plus emitter is heavily doped, that means IES will be larger than IES is not equal to, instead of saying larger, let me say is not equal to ICS, and alpha n is not equal to alpha I, right. So, because of that, now there will be some base current here for this particular type of the BJT here, right. So, when there is a different dopings, then the base current will result. When there is an equal doping, I mean symmetrical BJT, so you do not see any charge carriers, charge movement here. So, therefore, base current will be 0 for this. Okay. If the base current is, since base current is narrow here, so very little recombination happens, that will result in a base current here, that is what we said. Okay. Okay, so let us move to the next stuff here. So, the same Ebers-Moll equation, this can be written in different way here. So, this is the different alternate ways of writing emitted current here. Okay, so, by substituting this equation here, and even this collector current also can be written in alternative way. So, I think that is end of this Ebers-Moll model or coupled diode model here. And these are the questions which I will be asking in the upcoming quiz. Kindly remember that what are the things you need to answer here. These questions are little tricky, but I hope you can answer it if you understand this throughout the class. If you are active, then definitely you can answer this. Does the model have to be symmetrically doped for the emitter and collector? I mean same doping levels. You think of that. Two things in the model at the right will depend on the doping. You just see that what are the terms that are depends on the doping. Okay. And why current sources? Why we have used here current sources? Okay. And here you need to answer this. You need to think of basic definition of the current source, and also their dependence on delta P and delta PC with the voltage expressions, voltage inside these equations. If you think of that, then definitely you can answer why current sources are used in this coupled diode model. Next question is, if VEB and VCB both are positive, what will be the base current and why it is base current results here? This just now we have discussed here. Both are positive means they are forward biased here. What will be the base current for that and why? And its answer hint here is it very large or very small or 0, or the model does not provide this information. Just see these three choices here and try to answer this question here. How would you change the model if WB, so far you have seen that the WB what we have assumed is going to be very small. Okay. Now, here we have a question here, if WB is going to be very large, this region is going to be very large. Okay. Then how do you modify this model? Which of these 4 components you would like to eliminate if WB is larger? Just think of this. If not, then you would like to eliminate the 2 of the 4 circuit components in the model. Which one of those you would like to eliminate among the 4 stuffs here? Think of that. Last 2 questions. Would the specific BJT shown at right run better, higher amplification, normal mode, inverted mode, or will they same in both the modes? Look at, this is a model what we have shown here. We just want to a question here for a higher amplification, when we use BJT as an amplifier, for which mode this you get a better amplification, higher amplification. Okay, so look at this structure here and try to answer this question here. Okay, and if you fed all terms in the boxes in the yellow and green, what would be the equations it to reduce a diode or current source, or it cannot be solved? Just think of this. Okay. Okay. Naveen Kumar, can you please mute your phone? Okay, I hope with this we have completed the coupled diode model, and if you have any questions I can take up, otherwise we will move to the topic called drift in the base region. Okay, any questions here before we complete this coupled diode model? I hope you understood last question here. Last question, what we are trying to say is, if you fed in all terms of the boxes in yellow and green, what would be the equation reduced to? That means here we have seen here, one is injecting, other is leaving here. The question here is, when we make all of them entering this here like this, all of them are entering the box like this. Okay, that's what last question. If you fed in all terms of the boxes in the yellow and green, what would the equation reduce to? Is it a diode or current source, or it cannot be solved? Just think of these things from the last question. Okay, with that I think we have covered almost all things with reference to the coupled diode model. Coupled diode model is an important model, and it is a trusted model by various designers. One would would like to design circuit and analyze circuit. Definitely this model serves a better solution for that. Okay, with that let me move to the next topic called as a drift in the base region. Before I move to that, I want to show how exactly BJTs are fabricated. Fabrication is very important step in the the integrated circuit, BJT fabrication. We will see how to make IC version of the BJT. So here we have a silicon here, and we may start with either the N type material as a base material, or we can also start with P type as a base material. It all depends on what type of transistors you are fabricating. Okay, so here you can see that base metal used is going to be a phosphorus, which is a column 5 element, and there is a pure silicon, which is a column 4 element of the periodic table. And with this, if you can add, this is actually the a doping element. When we add this dope this silicon with this impurity kind of element, so we make a n type semiconductor material. So, this is what you are seeing here when this is doped, already doped, and when it solidifies, you see a silicon ingot something like this. Okay. And this silicon, big silicon ingot, after it solidifies from the molten state, this can be cut down into the slices like this, small silicon sizes. Usually this size, the diameter of this wafer varies from 8 inch, 12 inch and 16 inch, it depends. Okay. More the diameter, more ICs we can fabricate on this silicon wafer. This is called a silicon wafer, which is derived from this long silicon ingot. This looks like a cylinder type. Okay. When we cut them into the slices, one slice is called as a wafer here. Now, on this, on top of this, this, as I told you already, the base material is, in our case, is going to be an n type here. Okay. So, this silicon wafer, what you are seeing is already an n type semiconductor here. On top of that, if you diffuse with different sort of impurity elements, you can make either p plus np transistor or npn transistor, depending on the circumstance here, type of the wafer here. But right now what you are saying is the base material, this complete wafer is of n type here. Okay, that is what you are seeing here, an n type silicon wafer here. This is a cross sectional view what you are seeing here. On top of this, you can dope with a p plus. By doping largely this p plus, p type of impurity. P type of impurity example is going to be the boron. So, if you dope this a silicon wafer with a large amount of the boron, it forms another layer here. Okay, you are seeing here this another layer which is called as a p plus. That means, already we have a base metal as an n here, and you are converting this n into the other element like a p plus. Okay. So, by diffusing on top of this, this complete layer becomes an p plus here. Now, in between this you are seeing a junction, right. This looks like a diode. These are how the diodes are fabricated. Okay. So, the reason why we have shown here diode in in the BJT module is because there is no much difference between the diode and the BJT. If you understand the diode working principle, definitely you can understand even BJT. If you connect two diodes back to back, that forms the BJT. Okay. So, that is why here we are showing fabrication of the BJT, p plus n BJT. You can also make n plus p BJT also. If you start with p type of material as the base material, you can dope it with the n plus doping substance. On top of this, it makes the n plus p diode also. Okay. This is how the PN junctions are fabricated. With that, you can also understand how the bipolar junctions are fabricated now. The reason why I said this, because this is an hint gives an idea for the next topic which we are going to discuss. The topic which we are going to discuss right now is going to be the drift in the base region here. So, drift means the charge transport mechanism, what is happening in the base region, how it is happening in the base region, we are going to explain in this topic here. We are more interested in the base region, because that is the a material which is sandwiched between two regions here in a BJT. Suppose if you have a BJT here, so we have a p plus n BJT, one possibility, there is a n plus p n BJT. So, here this base is going to be very important for us here. The charge transport mechanism that is happening in the base, it is due to the under equilibrium condition, there are both drift and diffusion process. Both cancels each other and net current flow is going to be 0 under equilibrium condition. But when different biases are applied here, then there may be strong electric field depending on the bias here. Okay, what we apply between, there are two junctions here, emitter base and collector base junction. Depending upon that, we can see that how exactly charges are drifted. Okay. And even the concentration gradient or the charges, the different the doping at emitter and collector, that is also responsible for the charge movement in the base region here. Okay. So, the assumption of uniform doping in the base region breaks down to the implanted junction transistors that usually involve an appreciable amount of impurity grading here. So, let us see the transistors, how they are fabricated, and you can see the structure of the transistor here. Just now we spoken about how exactly p-n junctions are fabricated, and via this we can also make transistors. This is actually the structure of a transistor. So, this is a p plus region what you are seeing, this layer here, a thin layer what you are observing here, this is a p plus region, and below that you can see there is an this p plus region serves here as an emitter. Okay. And then below that what we have is the base region, which is n type, and below that we have an again a collector region, which is again p type here. So, this is a collector, and this is going to be the base n type. And look at here, the base material here to start fabricating BJT is the p type base material. Okay. So, if you start with the p type the base material, like we have shown in the diagram here, we have started with base material as an n type here, but to make PNP p plus NP transistor, we should start with base material as p type here, as you are seeing here. This is a background material or wafer. Okay, what you are seeing here is of p type here. That is why the doping profile for this is going to be a constant here. That means entire wafer surface you will have a equal doping of the entire wafer is of the p type here. So, there that's doping profile shows like looks like a straight line here. And on top of this, if you diffuse with the phosphorus material, okay, so which we would like to have a base here, that is of n type here, and you can see the doping profile of this doping profile of n type on top of this already existing p type looks like this. This is the doping profile for the n type, which is a base region of our actual transistor. And look at another doping profile. We need to make even emitter. We always start with foundation first. In this case, foundation is going to be the collector. Background or wafer itself is the foundation. On top of that, if you dope it with phosphorus, it becomes a base. And again, on top of that, if you dope heavily with a boron type of material, which is of again p plus type, that becomes an emitter here. So, this is the doping profile for the emitter, which is doping concentration. The y axis shows you the doping concentration, which is represented in log scale here, and x axis is nothing but distance here. In our actual structure, when we move from emitter to the deeper into the collector, that shows the distance. The x value is 0 at the emitter, and this is what, if you look at graph here, this is our x axis starting point. So, x is equal to be 0 here, and as you move deeper here, you can see that x value keeps increasing. So, you can see this x value keeps increasing. When we look at the physical structure here, the x value keeps increasing when you move from emitter to the collector. Same here also, this is our emitter, base and collector when you look at from x axis point of view. Okay. And this complete graph shows you the doping profile for the bipolar junction transistor, particularly the p plus NP transistor. The reason for showing in a log scale, because it has got large values to compress into the normal range, we use log scale here. Okay. That is the reason here. Okay. And also look at the current flow within the BJT. Current flows from emitter to the collector here. So, this is the direction of current flow. Current flows in accordance with the distance here, as we have shown here. Okay. And there is again a net donor concentration of the charges within the base region is shown like this. This looks like a Gaussian wave. Okay. This is not in log scale. This n represents here, it is a difference of Nd minus Na. Nd means it is a donor ion concentration, Na is the acceptor ion concentration here. The difference of this is shown as a graph here. This is only with reference to the base region here, this region. So, within this n region here, if you plot the net donor concentration in the base region, the graph looks like this. Its exponential rate keeps decreasing. This appears to be like Gaussian wave. So, where n is given by Nd minus Na, and generally this y axis is we can write this as n of x. N of x means the doping concentration as a function of distance here. Whereas at origin, when x is equal to, when Wb, when at the emitter, this is an emitter region. So, this is an emitter base junction. So, this is an emitter base junction. At emitter base junction, n of x is going to be n of 0, whereas at collector base junction, this is the collector base junction, because it is edge of the base. So, this is a collector base junction. Here n of x becomes n of Wb. So, here we have an n of x becomes equals to n of Wb. Okay. So, and if you see the point starting point and the ending point between the within the base here, so the equation is n of x. N of x will write a mathematical equation for this, how it varies. It is nothing but an exponential equation what we get. We will show that in the next class here. Okay. With that, I would like to stop here at this point. Hope you understood this the doping profile within the P plus NP transistor, and we have connected that to the actual BJT here, and we have shown here net doping concentration within the base region here. And next class we have a little bit of mathematical stuff to discuss this, how exactly the charge transport happens within the drift region. For that we need to write mathematical equation for the electric field within the base region, and with that help we can show that there is a charge transport mechanism happens in the base region here. Okay. With that I would like to stop here, and next class we would like to continue with the same topic.